Hello and welcome. I'm so excited you're here in this free introduction to how the subconscious mind works. My name is Veronica Lopez, and I am a certified mindset and abundance coach with the Yes Supply method, where I learn techniques that are backed by science in how to reprogram our subconscious mind to get us right back to a state of receptivity where we can install programs actually that really does serve us in letting go of those outdated belief systems that no longer serve us. You might know this as NLP, neural linguistic programming, that was developed in the 70s, but now with the Yes Supply method, we learn techniques that are trauma informed and that have been backed by science, actually. So this is really transformational, and it's just vitally important to know this type of science that is available for us in this modern world so that we can live our best life, the life that we've always were meant to live. And so stay with me. I'm going to pull up the slides that I've prepared for you in just a second. So we start here, how the subconscious mind works. And I love this photo, this picture here, because it's just a representation of that subconscious mind, right? There's so much light within us. And sometimes we're not able to see that because we're clouded by the darkness, but the light is there. And so our minds, how our minds work, how our programs work, and how we move through the world, right? So from ages 0 to 7, we're in a state of super learning. This is when our subconscious mind is getting developed. And so you can think of this as a sponge, actually. So we are like sponges when we are small children from ages 0 to 7. You might be able to, have a picture of one of your children, maybe in your mind, maybe you know how they behave from ages 0 to 7. If you don't have children, maybe your niece, your nephew, or some child that's near you in your family. And you might be able to recognize how they behave, how innocent they are, how fresh their brains are. And they're just like in this state of just discovery and learning and adventure. And they're just so filled with energy, right? Because they're so fresh. Their mind is so fresh. They're like really like sponges. They're just absorbing everything. And so in this state, we also are vulnerable because we are not only learning those programs that are serving us, but we're also learning programs that might not serve us in the future. And there's just no way to prevent that, right? Because we live in this world of duality and we see so many things that sometimes um, are really hard. Sometimes they're challenging and there's just no way to get around them. But um, this is how we also learn how to be in this world of form, right? Because we're again in this earth, this world of duality. And so the prefrontal cortex, this part of our brain that is actually the conscious part of our brain, has not yet been developed. And so through this period of life, from ages 0 to 7, we are in this alpha and theta brainwave state, which is that state that's recognized by science. That is where we're learning the most open to learning. And so the mind is in this state of super learning. That's why, again, kids are so curious, so adventurous, so ready to learn about the world. It's so exciting in a way, right? And so our minds work again in how we move through the world, right? So most of what we learn how to do is modeled for us. We see how to tie our shoes, how to eat, how to go to the bathroom and clean yourself, how to put on your clothes, how to play video games. And so we're learning by everything that we're observing, not just the adults, but the media, um, video games, um, animals, even our environment. So we're learning really from everything. And so the thing about this is that it's a great thing that we're in this state of super learning. However, we never really learn about mindset. And we never really learn that we are actually the creator of our reality. And so what ends up happening is that as we grow in older, and if we were never taught about mindset and how to be in that space of being the creator of your own reality, most people end up becoming victims to their circumstances as opposed to being the creators of their reality. So they start thinking things are happening to them as opposed to them being in charge of how they react to what happens to them. And you might um, can think of an example of this. Maybe you experienced a kid bullying you in school, and maybe you took that personal. Maybe you felt like they were actually bullying you, as opposed to maybe they were, thinking about their own environment and how maybe they were being abused in their homes. And so what ends up happening is that if you want to experience transformative change in your life, we got to start shifting those programs and those paradigms. And most people think that by trying to change the outside world, that's how they create change. Excuse me. When in fact, it is by going deeper to our subconscious mind, going inwards, that we actually get to create the change we want to see. It's kind of like that song, that Michael Jackson song, Men in the Mirror. We start with the men in the mirror. If we want to see the world be a better place, we start with ourselves first. But oftentimes, we try to force the outside to change. And again, that's not how we create change. And so many people believe that they have fixed mindset with fixed capabilities, when in reality, we have a growth mindset with growth capabilities. And we get to nurture those thoughts, those behaviors. We get to nurture our inner being by doing some self-care practices, by having a morning ritual, by journaling, by having an embodiment practice, by eating healthy, delicious, nutritious foods that are going to increase our vibration, our frequency, instead of lower us and put us in a state of disease. And so just give me a second here, because I have some notes prepared too, and I just want to make sure that we are on point. So I love this. I just want to share this too. There's this quote from Marianne Williamson that says, "The key to abundance is meeting limited circumstances with unlimited thoughts." And we all want to feel more abundant, right? Abundant isn't only necessarily money or financial gain. It is abundance of love, abundance of health, abundance of um, inner peace, abundance of inner resources. So all of this plays a part. in our abundance consciousness. And because we've experienced so much lack and limitation from the outside world, sometimes we think that that's how the world is. But this is why we got to go back to the roots, back to our source, back to our own inner light to realize and remember that we are unlimited beings with unlimited potential and that abundance is who we are. We are naturally abundant beings. And so anytime we have a negative thought, it's about meeting those thoughts with our higher self instead of from our ego self. And I'm not going to get too much into the ego versus the higher self, but you'll start to notice the difference as we move through this training. And so let's see here. Okay, we're all good. Let's go back to our slides. Beautiful. So now I'm going to show you this chart. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Fixed mindset is what we usually hear most often from others. We believe that we are shy or that we are someone who's not well at communicating. We believe that we are just a certain way and don't believe that we're capable of changing because we've never been that way. And so we automatically think that who we are in that present moment, that is who we are. But that is not true. Growth mindset means being open to exploring outside of your comfort zone, being able to test your edge, learn a new technique, learn something that is going to challenge you a little bit, but it's going to just bring you joy, satisfaction, and that sense of you're growing. Because we're naturally meant to grow and evolve. That is a universal law. And so, again, some examples of fixed mindset is believing that you are unlovable and that people won't like you. And this, it goes beyond the mindset for this example. And this one is near and dear to my heart because I used to believe that I was unlovable and that people wouldn't like me. So that is still a feeling that I come across from time to time, not as often as I used to, but from time to time that feeling arises. And I don't know about you, but is this ongoing self-care practice of returning back to the truth of who I am. And I shared with you at the beginning that there are some techniques to reprogram our subconscious mind. And when we talk about the subconscious mind, we're not only talking about our brain, we're talking about the cells that are in our body, our DNA, everything is really our memories, like they all are a part of our subconscious brain. And so we may change on the outside, but our inside, our subconscious mind, how we were programmed from ages 0 to 7, it's always there. We're always going to have an inner 7-year-old, an inner 3-year-old. And so those memories may not necessarily only live in our brains, but they also live in our subconscious, which is all throughout our body, in every cell of our being. And so with feelings that are strong, like I'm not lovable and that people won't like you or like me, this is a constant practice, like I said. And so with the techniques that we have here, Some of them are neural energetic encoding, EFT tapping. There are other embodiment practices such as yoga for myself that I love yoga, meditation. You may have your own practices of tuning into that love that resides within you. And so, but these techniques that I've learned with the Yes Apply method, they're, oh my God, just like unbelievably effective. And I've had so many breakthroughs that I've been able to guide my clients through, and it's just been wonderful. And so I'm excited to share those with you when I have the chance. Another fixed mindset affirmation is believing that because you saw your parents struggle with money, that you have to struggle with money too. And so this is a deep core wound of not just um our family lineage, but this is like ancestral, like it goes back generations and generations, and we're all healing from believing that we are inherently lacking something, believing that the world isn't a safe place. How many people believe and have encoded in their system that they cannot travel alone to another country because it's too dangerous, that they cannot travel alone to nature, being near animals because it's a threat, you know? So just believing that the world isn't a safe place. You can always change that too. Believing that life isn't fair or that you are unlucky. How many people carry this within their being as well? People just assume that the worst thing is going to happen to them, or they just keep holding on to all of these memories of negative things happening to them. And so they're obviously moment by moment recreating these memories in their mind. And so guess what they're manifesting? They're manifesting the same thing over and over again. And so in order for us to shift from having this fixed mindset to our growth mindset, first we got to become aware. Where are we stuck in our own ways? Where do we need to um, notice those thoughts, those paradigms that are not serving us anymore? And maybe you have a recurrent feeling that you experience. Maybe you haven't attuned to them yet, because sometimes when we keep ourselves busy, just go, 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 and in a state of fight or flight, we are actually not even capable to tune into our intuition, calm and regulate our nervous system so that we can start listening to the voice of our higher self. Voice of our higher self is always going to pivot us towards this growth mindset, being open to exploring outside of our comfort zone, believing that we are love and that we are lovable, and that we can always create new relationships, knowing that we can create a reality free from any past conditioning, just recognizing that we are unlimited beings. That can only be recognized by the power of our own higher self, the power of our own divinity, like I like to call it. Trusting that you are here for a reason and that the world is your playground. We get to decide how we want to move the chess pieces, how we choose to react to certain situations, or not react, but how to act out as opposed to react. Knowing that everything is happening for you and not at you. These are statements and affirmations that we gotta come back to again and again, that are coming from our higher self. that we got a program in our mind as soon as we wake up in the morning. That's why having morning rituals is very important. That's why having an embodiment practice is really important, because every day we gotta filter out those thoughts that are no longer serving us, and we gotta reinstall those thoughts that are actually serving us. And I hope this is making sense and helping you see from a new lens, a new perspective. And I love this quote: when the imagination and willpower are in conflict, are antagonistic, it is always the imagination which wins out without exception. Emily Q. And this is so, so true, because our imagination is connected directly to our own divinity, directly to our own higher self, directly to our subconscious mind, where we know that we're unlimited beings, that we're spiritual beings having this human experience. And that's why it's so strong. So this works either way, whether you're thinking or imagining positive things happening to you or negative things happening to you. This is why it's so crucial, so essential that we start becoming aware of those thoughts that are not helpful for us. And again, we filter them out and we install the ones that are actually going to help us um, arrive or achieve or live out our most aligned life. Because sometimes when we think of achieving, when we think of arriving somewhere, there's actually no such thing, you know? Like I know people in their 70s who are actually planning their next 10 years, 20 years. Like there's no limit to when we stop growing as long as we're in this human experience. And so when we reprogram our subconscious mind, then we start showing up confidently to be of service to those who actually can benefit from the medicine that we came here to share with the world. Because one droplet affects, the entire ocean. Just like that, when we heal, we automatically create ripples, allowing others to step into their most authentic self, inner peace, inner joy, aligning with them, with their higher self. And they start living a life that is actually benefiting not just them, but everyone around them. And this is how we can actually arrive to a place of healing the entire world. And so we got to say to ourselves, I am capable of anything I set my mind to. I am talented. I am enough. I am worthy. And then you are naturally that person who achieves, and therefore you can magnetize and manifest anything and everything that you want in your life. And so it's like learning to reparent our inner child. We all have our inner child, multiple ages, all ages inside ourselves, our inner 20-year-olds even. And so we gotta tend to those aspects within us that unfortunately might have experienced some wounding, there might have been some trauma involved, but this is not an indicative that we are not capable of healing that inner child. Without making ourselves wrong for it, without judging ourselves, without putting labels on ourselves, freeing ourselves from any guilt, any shame, any suffering that we may be incurring because we believe that we are not good enough, that we're not worthy enough, that our divinity has failed us, when in fact, we've always been divine. We've always been this embodiments of love. And again, it's by going inward into our subconscious mind, learning how to speak to our subconscious mind and about those thoughts and those programs that are not serving us, so that we can actually embody our higher self. And this picture here with the money, just notice if that picture triggers you at all. Because oftentimes, if we find that we are being triggered by money, that's a sign that there's some subconscious reprogramming that needs to happen around money, because money is just a tool. And we've often heard that money is the root of all evil, that people with money are selfish, and all of these stories about how money is not good. And so, in order for us to actually attract all of the abundance, all of the dreams and desires that we want to rewire our belief around money. And this is something that I love and love and love to cover and teach my clients, because I know that it's so essential. We're all healing this wound of not feeling worthy, of not feeling enough. And it's just a program if you think about it, because money is just a tool. We put so much value in our feelings into money when it's just a tool. And we should never be afraid of scarcity, because being in scarcity mode is being in fear mode, being in survival. And that is not who we are. That's not who we came here to be. We're truly divine beings, made of light, fully abundant, fully embodied, and so worthy and so divine. So this is all for this training. I really hope you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends if you feel like they could benefit from it as well. Tag me, let me know you're sharing it, and I will see you on the next lesson if you choose to join me there. It's been such a pleasure and such an honor. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.